Hey, welcome to a new show that I'm calling Eratastic. So what this show is going to be comparing older versions of a game in the series to newer versions of the game in the series. So in veins of old versus new or sequelitis, kind of like that, but in a little bit of a grander scale. So yeah, I'll be doing different eras of games, remakes of games, or even just sequels. So anything comparing old versus new. And today I think about this a lot, and I'm gonna talk about Sonic 3D Sonic games, going from the adventure format, Sonic Adventure 2, and loosely Sonic Heroes, with the boost to win mechanics. So Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, Sonic Forces, games like that. Definitely a lot of differences between the feeling and how both of these games are developed. And I want to talk about these differences and see which one is really better. So the footage I took was from Sonic Adventure 2, and then Sonic Generations, because Generations kind of encompasses kind of all of what modern Sonic is about, more or less. Gameplay hasn't really changed a lot between Unleashed and Forces. Almost all the same, with some gimmicks thrown in there. So first, I just want to talk about how these two eras approach story. So Sonic Adventure being its first 3D space for Sonic. Yes, he is fully 3D. It's not some 3D blast bullshit, where it's a isometric view and it's like pseudo 3D. No, full 3D. So might as well make it a little bit darker of a story, because before there was basically no story. Just Sonic fights Eggman. Eggman does some heinous shit, and Sonic's like, "You can't be doing that," and then that's what happens. But like, spoiler alert for 20-year-old games. The ending of Sonic Adventure has the city be destroyed by a giant water monster, just absolutely obliterated. So the tone's a little bit different. And then they did make that tone lighter for the future games. But right now, let's just compare story. So like I said, it has a darker tone. How it treats that darker tone, I personally actually kind of like. But there's a lot of people who don't like the story, especially in Adventure 1. Adventure 2 was a little bit better. The voice acting was not great because of how awfully it was dubbed. The voice actors themselves were good, but trying to fit that into the game did not just execute well at all. So like the start of Sonic Adventure 1, it was very innocent, except for the, water monster with the police and needing to fight that, and that kind of sets the tone for the game. Like, it's dark, it's not super dark, but it's like there's a very, like, an actual serious matter, and like humans are involved who have like real bullets and stuff. And then, you have a beach level. It's like, yay, beach. And it is a little random. You're just trying to get Chaos Emeralds and you're trying to fight Eggman. So it is kind of more on par. But then we get to the Egg Fleet. That's kind of where the story turns a little bit, where the plan is fully getting realized and Chaos is getting bigger and that darker tone kind of sets in. And then you realize all the subtext in the game, especially when you're going with different characters. Like if you're playing Gamma, his story's just depressing, and there's like so much subtext that you actually feel for a robot more than any other character in the game. And then again, going to the ending, you become Super Sonic and you fight Perfect Chaos that has all the 7 Chaos Emeralds. And I don't know how they fix the city between games. And then Sonic Adventure 2 comes directly off of that, because they do reference events from Sonic Adventure 1. And then the story fucking turns. The main part of the story is the Ark and it destroying the planet. Eggman blows up half the moon. I don't know what the fuck he was gonna plan on doing once the Earth is destroyed. but he was gonna do it. And then, you know, Shadow being the ultimate life form, and the game got real edgy, because that's what Shadow is. He's all about that edge. But I do like him quite a bit. Sonic. Shadow is a good character. Yeah, and talking about, you know, Maria's death, and it was actually Eggman's grandfather who made the Ark, and he was dying of disease, and he wanted, you know, basically say fuck the Earth. You know, humans are scum, so they all deserve to die, and they let Maria die, so they should die. And just dark stuff. And I mean, it was a little light, especially on Sonic's side of the story. It's very light, but it's pretty dark. Now let's compare that to just the tone that the other Sonic games give. Sonic Colors, yeah, you know, Eggman's enslaving aliens for a amusement park, but you don't really like see that. It doesn't really get talked about a lot. It's, again, the tone is very upbeat about it. Yeah, he's doing something evil, but you know how the dialogue is portrayed and everything, that everything's kind of just, everything's nice. Sonic Generations, you're going through time and time is destroyed. Yeah, the subtext is very dark there, but again, how the tone and how they take the story and how they take the game is very like, oh yeah, remember this place was cool. Hey look, there's classic Sonic. That's weird. Like, the tone of the game doesn't relate to the story of the game. There's a little bit of a looser connection. Even Sonic Forces was supposed to be super dark, especially with Infinite. And it's probably like in the Boost to Win Sonic games, that's the darkest they have gone. So the tone of the story, both comparatively, I think how the Adventure series did it, like how they portrayed the story, was close to the tone of the game. Where the Boost to Win formula games don't really have a true identity in the part. So I personally like how Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 did their story, because of how it actually relates to the story. It doesn't feel like the story takes a backseat. It actually is a focus, and everybody's reactions to what the events are more so realistic. And now we get into the gameplay aspects. So, obviously, the Boost to Win is in the newer games, so Sonic looks better, and his model is refined, and then now they're using the same model for every game, basically, changing it up slightly, but it is the same Sonic almost every game. So they're consistent, and you know, it looks better, but it doesn't really play better. So the controls are tighter in the Boost to Win formulas, but that's exactly what the games are known for, is Boost to Win. There's no real 3D platforming. There is slight 3D platforming, but how Sonic controls, it feels off. Like, how Sonic controls in the newer games, he's obviously meant not to control for precision. The only time that they actually focus on platforming is when they switch it to the 2D aspects, and I don't count those segments as part of the game. I'm just counting the 3D parts, because I personally think that the modern Sonic shouldn't have 2D parts, especially in fucking Generations, because then it makes classic Sonic fucking pointless in Generations. What's the point of doing 2D Sonic levels if the 3D Sonic levels also has 2D segments? It's 75%. The game is 75% 2D. It doesn't really separate modern and classic that much, does it? So I really don't like the 2D segments in the 3D Sonic games. I liked that. I want to play a 3D Sonic game, I want to play a 3D Sonic game. If I want to play a 2D Sonic game, I play a 2D Sonic game. There should be a clear difference, and that's what Adventure did. There was that clear difference. The platforming felt nice, and it actually felt tight, because you could control your character a lot more precisely, where Sonic in the newer games just kind of is super floaty. When you're going fast and you're just on the straight line and then you're hitting enemies, that feels good. But it's not hard. It feels good to be fast, but there's no difficulty there. The only difficult parts of any of the 3D Sonic games really are the 2D segments. Because the 3D segments is literally just be quick. And the better you are at quick timing or using your fingers, the easier it is. And yeah, so you have to have some sort of skill, but the skill cap isn't that high. You just have to have some sort of skill. You just have to have good reaction timing. Because you're only working with 3 to 4 buttons. And then the 2D segments come in and that's a different story. But again, Sonic is very floaty. And again, like, enemies don't matter. Like in Sonic, especially in Sonic Adventure 2, late game, you actually have to like think for a few seconds to defeat an enemy. But boost to win, you hold square or X, whatever console you're playing. You hold it, and you're blasting through enemies. Enemies don't give a shit. They won't stand in your way whatsoever, except for bosses. But I'm just talking about regular levels. I'm not talking about fucking bosses, just regular ass levels. You just boost. You boost, you jump, and then you boost some more. Forces kind of was a little bit better at that, only for the custom characters. But not for Sonic. It's still just holding square. That's all it is holding square and pressing X. And I think that's my biggest problem. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 did 3D platforming very well. Enemies took a little bit of time to think about. And hitting enemies actually felt good. They weren't just obstacles so you could go across a gap. Every enemy had to be taken down either with a spin dash, which you can't just fucking keep on going, or with a homing attack. That's the only way you could defeat enemies, and then you could, and somersaults in Sonic Adventure 2 and shit like that. But it just felt better. It just felt way better. And if you try spin dashing without controlling Sonic too much, you would fall off the edge. It was harder. Literally, in the new Sonic games, there were some parts that you had to be careful, but literally you just hold square and you beat the level. There's really no threat of falling off the level because you're just on a path, and sometimes you'll hit a wall, and that's about it. Really, no risk. But in Sonic Adventure 2, you have to actually control Sonic. You have to know where you're going. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of parts with railings, but there's also not, but still in a 3D space. Yeah, it just feels better. He controls tighter. Like one thing I always imagine is how would Chow Gardens work in the new formula? That automatically makes Sonic Adventure games, the first two, just way better because of the Chow Garden. That's like already an automatic winner. We need Chow Gardens back. But if Sega, if you're gonna bring Chow Gardens back, you have to bring back the adventure formula back. I cannot imagine walking around trying to take care of Chow with the fucking controls that Sonic, how you make him control now, is not built for that. He's only built to go 150,000 miles an hour. He's not built to walk. Like in Sonic Elite trying to walk around the towns in the PS3 version, it's a pain. It feels weird. And it's like, oh, let's talk to this NPC. Oh, wait. Okay, now I can talk to him. It's a pain. You made him floaty. You made him weird. It doesn't feel right. It feels so much tighter. You feel like you're in full control of Sonic in 1 and 2, in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Not so much in the Boost to Win. So I think, Boost to Win is fun. Those games are fun and there are challenging parts, but I don't like the fact that the 2D-ness is goes into it a lot because I want to play a 3D Sonic game. I want to play a 2.5 Sonic game. And yeah, they introduced, different gimmicks for each game. The Werehog had its own separate levels, but I didn't like that. Especially in the PS3 version, they were just way too long. The Wisps were cool, having their own abilities. That was cool. But Sonic Adventure had gimmicks for, not each level, but each level had something different about it. And it didn't have to be a game mechanic. It was just something about those levels that made them different. So yeah, the level design was just better because it was built around the game. And now built around mechanics. Just to end my point, here's a side-by-side of Sonic Generations version of Speedy Highway and Sonic Adventure. And then City Escape between Generations and Adventure 2. You see the difference? There's a clear difference. And I mean, it's all subjective. Which one do you feel is better out of the two? Do you just want to boost through the 3D parts and be fast and then platform? Or do you want the 3D segments to be also the meat of the game, not just being able to run through it? I could keep on going about the subject. But now, oh god, my throat. Now I'm going to bring it to you guys. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like the adventure formula more? I feel like more people do. A lot of people want the Sonic Adventure 3. That would be great. So you want the adventure formula, do you like that? Or do you actually generally do like the boost to win and actually like the 2D segments, which I personally think is the only challenging part of any of the newer Sonic games? So yeah, just comment below what you think, one way or the other, or you could just say you agree with me on certain points, or you think I'm an idiot, whatever. Definitely comment below. So if you like this episode, thumbs up. If you want to see more from us, subscribe. And until next time.